And I also showed earlier the neutral throw can wall slam. If you do find yourself stuck in a corner, I heavily recommend using one of your jump-in moves to get out of the corner. Either one is fine. You can use 9P and just press 4-4, then you end up getting a bit of a dash to get out of the way. And of course, if you have your back to the wall and you have a little bit of advantage, just go for 7P. I mean, good stun allowing for follow-ups on normal hit and +3 guard break on block. Alright, once you are familiar with Kasumi's, once you're familiar with the wall game, like the stuff I showed you earlier, then I would recommend familiarizing yourself with their throw game. Like I went over the properties of the throws earlier, but obviously with regard to the throws, the thing you're going to be spending the most time, of course, is basically the combo throws. Alright, so right now I'm gonna I'll just show you basically just the go-tos for your throws. The most common throw is 236T. If you're still pretty new to Kasumi and are still learning her, I definitely just recommend doing the 6K PP KK juggle. 57 damage plus a huge knockback is standard. This is generally a good throw also if you're like in front of a wall. You get 67 damage. I mean with the full wall slam. I mean a combo you can throw if you a combo you can try after you're fine with the 6K the 6K PPKK is the one I just did is... Alright, what it is after the throw, you gotta do a 6-6 dash, then KK 7K. Then after that will be... it's KK 7K 6 to go forward. Then during the dash, you'll do 9PK 6. Then after that, you'll do this. This throw does works on pretty much any weight class. It can also work on super heavies like Rachel. And it does have wall slamming ability. One thing to be a bit careful with that throw is that the first part can wall slam very easily. So if you think you're close to a wall, then you may have to kind of concede a bit and just use something like PPKK, just take the others, or depending on the spacing... Oh, shoot. Depending on the spacing, you might have to use PP6PK. So what that one is just KK flips 7, then you end with PP6P6K. That gives you 60 damage. Alright, I'm trying to show you the go-to combo, although it requires you to get a good launch. See if I can just get it now. It's too low. We'll have to apologize. It has been a long stream, so oh man. So my judgment is going a little bit. So I'm trying to show you the throw, but I'm kind of failing at. Oh man. Unfortunately, you will run into times where your execution doesn't work the way that you necessarily want it to. Too low again. Alright, there's one of them. That is, what this combo is after the flip and you do 6, you end up doing PP 6PK. That gives you 68 damage. Alright, that's the variation now, where the ender after the combo will be PP 6P 6K. That one does allow you to go for another ground hit if the opponent doesn't tech it. That's too low. Alright, what I was trying to do there is that you could go for a force tech if you end up delaying the last hit. I can't get the dash. And right there you end up getting a force tech that gives you a +10, plus you get a little 8 damage from there, so that is an option. So what it is just ending with PP 6K, then you delay and you do a force tech. You do that if you're pretty much certain the opponent won't tech. You can go for a similar kind of thing with a PP 6P 6K 6K, which, I mean, it won't necessarily force up, but it will ground hit, and if the opponent pushes any button, it will force them up. If you're in front of a wall, the recommended one is you can either do 6P KK, or in front of a wall you could try just do a micro dash and press PK, then do PPKK. You end up getting an extra 3 damage. Alright, so that's what you generally go for in front of a wall. And if you are kind of feeling a little adventurous, there's actually a pretty tough combo off of 236T. What it is that the second hit is, you just have to bound the opponent twice. Although I'm probably guessing I'm probably not going to be able to, fortunately probably won't get it right now because my execution seems to be a little shot at the moment. Yeah, I'll try one more time, but yeah, I probably won't be able to get it. How it looks is that you end up doing this move twice. The second one kind of hits, and it's if you're able to get the time, and it's actually a really cool looking combo. Yeah, but it can be really picky with the timing. Yeah, unfortunately I can't seem to get it. I might try it a little again later. Alright, the place where 236T becomes the most dangerous is under a ceiling. Alright, the recommended combo is just simply doing, after you get the big launch, I recommend doing 33K, 66, or 66K delay K, and then just finish off with either PP 6B 6K or PP 6BK. So right there you get respectable damage, 91, 89, or 91 on normal hit, which is really high damage for just a single throw. A nice thing also about this throw is it gives you a guaranteed 4 H+K. And with that, you can get a free 4P. So right here you just got 65 damage guaranteed, and you also have a critical burst setup. I missed it. So you can end up setting up like a lot of damage for that. Oh wow, what am I doing now? You can also try and get set up a 3-3K, which can be guaranteed off of 4 H+K. The downside is that 3-3K has really crummy range. So sometimes 4 H+K pushes too far out and it may not hit. So what you may have to do is do like a very small dash in. Yeah, but overall, I usually, if you're going to go for that way, I usually recommend using 4P, then you can use the second hit as like a launcher. But yeah, these are just like little things that you can do with it. So you can end up using a 4PP or 4PK as like a small mix-up, because the second hit is technically holdable, where it's only guaranteed up until about this point. You have to be a little careful if you're like in a corner, because in a corner, your focus will be trying to see if you can position the opponent to try and wall slam them if possible. So if you do get a launch and put them in the air, then use 6P, 6K, or 6PP as like a wall slam move, and you end up netting yourself over 100 damage. You have to be careful though if you do go off axis. If you're uncertain, you can use 3-3. You can use 3-3K as a launcher after it. But you have to make sure you kind of orient yourself around. One way you can to orient yourself is your guard button does turn you around, because when you launch the opponent, you get a lot of advantage. With plus 70, I mean, really, the opponent can't do anything at all. I mean, even if you end up staggered, send it to like fastest stagger. Well, I mean, it's unstaggerable at all, so you can't even stagger escape it. And with that said, another thing also to keep in note, you get so much advantage that off of the 236T, your power blow is guaranteed. I'll also let you know that it's also guaranteed off of her expert mid-kick hold under a ceiling. When the floor doesn't break, of course. And right here, and I'll just let you know, in most stages that have ceilings, you can generally very easily get wall damage, because they're not usually the biggest stages. Like right here, you can always power blow someone into a wall. So right there, you're getting like a crap load of damage for one hold. You can knock them wherever you want, into different parts of the environment. She also has a launcher throw off a low, even though getting a power blow off this one is always kind of iffy, I find. I mean, sometimes you're within range for it, but other times it kind of may be too far. And what happens is if it whiffs in front. It's actually possible for the opponent to slow escape the stun off of this throw. but they technically shouldn't get it down. They can't stagger escape it far enough that it will not make the power blow guaranteed. In order to get off a power blow, you need at least 40 frames of charge. Most times I usually get it at about between 41 and like 44, which is around the same timing that you would need to get it after like a critical burst, for instance. But for this one, whether they stagger escape it or not, sometimes the power blow whiffs in front, so you want to be a little like careful with that. The time when it works would end up working best is if you have like your back to a wall, and I mean, just if it's a really like if it's like a really crowded spot. But overall, I would probably just recommend just going for a juggle. I mean, because being able to get a guaranteed power blow off a low throw is actually kind of crazy, to be quite honest. Alright, I'll just continue on with the... I'll continue on with the 6-6 T throw. Alright, this throw also happens to be, it's 7 frames and it's a position switch. What you do is that as soon as you see the blue combo throw, just press the throw button and you'll end up going behind for a +10, which can allow for a guaranteed elbow, because the back turn you have to add an extra 5 frames to be able to turn around and block, meaning that it's like you're at +15. With this throw you have 2 options. You can either go for the combo, or if you do 6T, 2T, you can get a wall slam. You can get a wall slam throw and get a respectable 65 damage. But under most circumstances, usually just go for the combo throw. All right, the recommended combo, I mean, against like lighter weights, and it can work on middle weights also, is the standard kind of 7KK, 7K or KK 7K6 into the teleport, and after the teleport you do the 9PK6, then the KK at the KK at the end. If you're uncertain if it will connect, then under most circumstances, simply do an PKK. So basically, just doing the PKK 7K 6KK usually ends up getting you respectable damage. Like, gives you about 70 damage. Where the other combo will net you on average about, it's in open space it would be about 76 damage. That's it. Yeah, in open space it's 76, but it has pretty large wall carry. I find it won't work very well on heavier weight classes. Tends to work well on lightweight and middleweight, but you have to be careful that some characters, like hitboxes, it may not work as well. Like, I find that it doesn't work as well on someone like Hayate, but I mean, that's like different things, so it is a bit of your mileage may vary, so if you're ever in doubt, which also works on super heavyweights too. Occasionally, even though it doesn't really happen that often, but if you end up get a wall slam, then you have to use a slightly different combo there for 85 damage. It's similar to her standard wall combo. After 6PK, 3P, 2P, then 4PKK. Simply going for the usual PKK, 6K doesn't hit as consistently. I mean, after that throw. Oh, I just did something different there. And in DOA you'll realize that angled wall hits are your enemy. Hate those things with a passion. Yeah, see, it doesn't launch quite as high as a normal wall slam, so you have to use 4 PKK as a wall ender. And you get 85 damage from that, which is very respectable. Which is actually really good, to be quite honest. Alright, I'll show some stuff to do with 1T, but I want to show it outside, since it's obviously reacts differently under a ceiling. I showed you one combo earlier with the 7-frame crouch and throw. Alright, this one is just the same as it's very similar to the one off for 236T. 7KK did 6, then just it's basically 7KK 6. Then you do 7KK. Then you do a single K. Then you finish off with PP 6PK. You can also, of course, finish off with PP 6P 6B 6K for it just does 2 less damage, but you get a better, like a better Oki situation, but either option's fine. As a variation, you can also do... You can do this throw too if you're uncertain if the other throw combo will connect. You'll only get 55 damage, but you still get good wall carry, so you can use that as like an alternative. In front of a wall, yeah, you have to use like a completely different combo. Alright, this one here is just simply, after this, do 4 PK, then P, KK, 6K. If he slams to the wall, you get 59 damage, which is perfectly fine. And for this throw under a ceiling, generally what you want to do is go for 4 H+K. You can just get your stun mix-up. So you can do the same thing that was done with the stand-in launcher throw. I usually end up doing 4 H+K then 4P. You can also do 6P. Because even if they stagger escape... these floor bricks. See, even if they... Oh, wait a minute. Recovered faster. Yeah, 4P ends up just giving you a critical burst to set up. And this still does decent damage also in itself. There are 58 damage plus a critical burst setup. Alright, I'll show you the kind of combos to do with 1H. I might have, her low kick hold, I might have shown him a little earlier, but just as a bit of like a reminder. Let me try. Alright, this one is just the same. It's just the same combo as before. The usual kick 6K, then 9P KK. So that combo. The main reason why I like using this combo for most launchers is because it can connect at a relatively low launch height. So it ends up coming off being relatively reliable in open space. This is the one you do for your Oki, but he dropped the last hit. Occasionally the last hit can drop. Then you can go for the Oki after there. If you're in front of a wall, I usually recommend going for 3. If you're in front of a wall, then I usually just recommend go for 3P. And just do the 3P, 2P, then PKKK, or or P.K.K. 6K. But in general, you're going to be using that combo the most. Alright, now I'll just show the combos for 4-6H or her expert kick hold, but I'll start outside first. Alright, that one's the same as off the low kick hold, the usual KK, then 6K, then the 9PK. So you use that same combo. That's the one that you're generally going to do in, open space. Oh shit. There's a slight variation if you're afraid that the last hit may not connect on some opponents. So you just simply have to go for an earlier ender. But still, for the combo, usually do KK then 7K as opposed to PKK. Because sometimes PKK, 7K may push them out too far. So I just do KK. Alright, and under a ceiling, the combos obviously become a bit different because it becomes a ceiling throw. Earlier I showed you can do your power blow, which is always an option. Generally after this, just go for 4 H+K, well, when it preferably doesn't floor break. Then you could just end up usually going for typical PKK, 7K, teleport KK combos, but the floor breaks can be a nuisance. So you still get good damage from that. And if you're uncertain if the double flip combo will connect, you can just go for the usual PKK, then the dash combo. Either one still can get pretty good damage. There may be other combos, but these are just still decent go-to combos. If you are in front of a... If the opponent will pretty much be knocked into a corner, then just go for like a wall slam. But... let's see. And the recommended would generally after this is just do 4 H+K. Yeah, I mean, her launcher throws or holds can be a little iffy in corners, so you might have to fiddle around a bit to see if you can get the right timing, and position, because Kasumi does end up getting really disoriented in corners off of those throws. Yeah, but anyways, those are usually the go-to combos for that. Alright, so off of her 3H parry, you're going to be doing similar combos to her 6-6T. So it's similar kind of combos. So off of her standard parry, you're going to be usually doing that. Or if you're uncertain of advantage, just go for the back throw. If 6P 6K wall slams, it's the same. It's the same kind of idea. It's basically just the same combos as 6-6 TT. And after a really long, grueling session, that's actually it for now. Alright, so if anyone has any questions now, feel free to go ahead. Because I will stay around and ask questions, but just as a formality, I just want to thank you for sticking around for me for this very, very lengthy and grueling session. But I hope it was helpful to you, and I'll see if I can do any sort of similar guides in the future, and I look forward to seeing Kasumi players level up in the future. So if you have any questions, continue to fire away. But for now, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. This is